My name's Ethan. I'm here with Janet Diaz, and welcome to Lancaster Community Television Station. I am here with a J.P. McCaskey alumni and a woman who is diverse and active in her community. How you doing, Janet?
I'm doing very well.
I'm glad to hear that. Let's start off with, how was it like living in the Bronx, New York?
As a child, when I lived in the Bronx, I had very fond memories. I had many friends. I recall the last school I went to, which was PF 52. And some of the things that we did as activities, and as kids, we went to the Yankee Stadium every Sunday. In the spring and in the summer, we also spent a lot of times at the fire department. When they had activities, we were able to eat lunch with the firemen or have the opportunity to jump on the fire trucks. They also opened the pumps for us when it was very hot in the summer, so we got to play in the water. And New York City has a lot of diversity. We went to museums. We traveled Manhattan and got to see the Statue of Liberty, going up to the Empire State Building. So I have a lot of fond memories of New York City, the Bronx, and I still have relatives there, and I still travel back and forth to New York.
Yeah, I have several family members that live there. I just found out I have a fourth cousin that lives there. To move into Lancaster, Pennsylvania, a more inclusive area and conservatives. But at the same time, there's a lot of education going on throughout the several school districts in the county. May you tell me what it was like moving from the Bronx to Lancaster, Pennsylvania?
Moving to Lancaster was an eye-opening for me at the age of probably 10 or 11 years old. It was not what I expected coming from New York, which was very diverse, not only as culture, but also of foods and things to do, activities. It was very quiet. I experienced racism. I felt very introvert. There was not very many students of my color or race in the schools. So it was very hard for me to even make a friend. It took probably about 2 years when I recall having a friend. And the experience was very odd. I was sitting in a stoop outside of my home, or let's say the small apartment we lived in, and a neighbor across the street that lived in a beautiful mansion wanted to speak with my mother. So I got my mother, and I was very fearful because I wasn't sure what I did wrong. But at that time, the mother, Mrs. Millinger, and April was the daughter, she had requested if my mom would allow me to come across the street to play with April. That was my first encounter of having a friend, which I will always treasure. I don't know where she is at, and it's a shame that they had to move, but you know, coming from a culture where I had friends from so many different parts of, let's say, the United States and all over the country that spoke different languages, and you know, they were very inclusive, and I didn't feel like sheltered. I really felt that Lancaster at that point was not for me.
Yeah, when I moved to Lancaster, I was in 8th grade, coming from Coatesville, and the first middle school I went to was Wheatland Middle School, and then made the transition to J.P. McCaskey. Luckily, it was for the sports programs that my transition was much easier with the coaches and teammates, and just seeing a different walk of life. But unfortunately, you end up taking the plane way down south to Puerto Rico to be with family members. May you explain how it was like moving for the third time?
Well, at that point when I decided to tell my mom that I really needed to leave Lancaster because I just felt that it wasn't for me, I just felt out of place. So I had the opportunity to move with my uncle in Puerto Rico and my aunt, Irma. They lived on a sugarcane farm, so he managed the sugarcane field. Having the opportunity to be on a farm, raising a calf, which was Susie, my cow, being able to get up in the morning, feed the chickens, milk the cow, clean the stalls. It was enlightening to me. It was something different. Obviously, it came from the city. Moving to a farm was very awkward at times, but it was a great experience as a child to learn about agriculture. Also, the devastation of what climate change can do to a farmland that is devastated by a hurricane. So at that time, Hurricane Hugo came through, and we experienced lack of water, lack of electric for a few, I would say it was probably 3 or 4 weeks, not being able to go to school because everything was shut down, trying to grab chickens that were floating and throw them inside a shed because we didn't want to lose those, and even trying to stick a cow in a carport because that was the only place to be able to make sure that nothing happened to her. It was a great experience, but sad at the same time, because when you lose all your farm and all the food resources all through Puerto Rico, it does show you what kind of devastation that can occur due to the climate change. And in reference to school, I was able to learn Spanish, to read and write it, which was very important for my family. They wanted to make sure that I spoke Spanish very well, since at that time, predominantly everyone spoke just Spanish. So that's another positive thing that going to Puerto Rico. I had many friends that I left behind, but were able to write back and forth and go visit again as I travel back and forth when I could when I was on vacation from school.
Yeah, speaking of education, I graduated from JP McCaskey, and it was a different experience than what I was supposed to graduate from Coatesville Area School District. And I was the first in my family to graduate from JP McCaskey. It was unplanned. And since you graduated from JP McCaskey, it was unplanned because you went through different transitional periods of going from New York to Lancaster to Puerto Rico, and then you came right back to JP McCaskey and you graduated the high school. Maybe tell me what it was like that special day where you had your cap and gown and you graduated and heard your name called.
Well, coming back to Lancaster and going into JP McCaskey was very, very diverse. I was very excited to know that, I had people that looked like me, and people that accepted me for who I am and what I am. So, yeah, I was involved in track, and I had the opportunity to also be in the Glee Club, which I enjoy singing at the church as well. And they had Multicultural Day where everybody got a chance to try different types of foods, and it was a great opportunity. And then graduated from JP McCaskey to me is an honor. Not only am I a product of a school that it's a public school system, but it goes to show you that McCaskey is very accepting, diverse, and the education is very strong, and I'm very happy to have graduated from there.
Yes, that is very true. There's a lot of people who came from McCaskey who have gone on to professional careers, military, entrepreneurship, and also opened up mom and pop shops. And it shows that there's plenty of talent in the city and also the township. And it also shows that Lancaster is a place of opportunity for those who want to seize the moment and build a stronger foundation for the next generation. And speaking of that, may you tell me some of your favorite hobbies you like to get involved with?
Well, other than singing through my youth, I also enjoy scuba diving. I had gotten my 6 feet certification, then I turned around and got my 100. And anytime I have the opportunity to go to Puerto Rico or to an island that I can go scuba diving, I take that opportunity. Other than scuba diving, I enjoy spending time with my dogs and watching television and gathering with my friends and talking about life in general.
That's very neat. And I also know that you get involved with giving back to those in need through the Water Street Rescue Mission, the YMCA, and also United Way.
Yes, I felt that protecting women and the abuse and also children that have been victimized through sexual assault, it was important for me to give back, to give my time to help those that need to be healed by the trauma that they experience as a victim. So I spent 6 years as a sexual assault counselor. And in the United Way, and I usually just, give my resources, donations to them so they can also continue helping our community. And the Water Street Rescue Mission, I do enjoy going there with my husband and, celebrating whether it's Christmas or Thanksgiving and feeding the homeless. It's really important because as a child, I have experienced hunger and also homelessness. So it's important that, to me, spiritually and emotionally, that I give back to my community the best that I can.
Yeah, a lot of trauma does go on. The reason why the trauma continues because the person who's the abuser hasn't taken time to heal themselves first. And what ends up happening in the future is that person who got abused has a choice to become the victim for a pity party or become the victor, reclaim their power on the throne, and reclaim their power internally inside and start working towards healing themselves and confronting the person who did it and that was responsible. And it's important to have a voice and speak up, because if you don't speak up against the person who's victimizing that person is going to continue the cycle until you have a group of people that are going to point their finger at one person and that person is going to be held accountable. Now, speaking of accountability, you also like to make sure the counseling is consistent, but also you hear people with an open heart where you can relate to them, have sympathy and empathy, but again, providing the resources so they can become better off in the future. And may you tell me about the backbone support of your family and your husband as far as your everyday walk of life, the family gatherings, your wedding, and just being active and present?
Well, in regards to family, we have a close-knit family. In regards to spending time with them, we have picnics, we go, on vacation, we try to spend as much time as we can, whether, it's eating some ice cream at Lancaster City or maybe even Strasburg Creamery. Those are some of the things that we like to do. I can kind of go back and some of the things we do with my family. We have a very large family, and when we have activities, whether it's celebrating one of the holidays, we can't invite too many friends because we have like over probably 100 members to maybe 200 members of our family get together, but we'll have many turkeys cooked, and we have a lot of food that's ready to fill the bellies of all my family members. We have activities like stand-up comedies, or sometimes they have skits, or some of the family members will sing. So we have a really good time together, and we always have somebody there available if there's a crisis, that we're, those that are close by go to assist them if someone is sick. Those are the things that I worry about, is making sure that my family members are healthy and happy, and making sure they have food and resources and able to put a roof over their heads. So that's very important to me.
Cool. That is very thoughtful. You're failing to think of others, but also at the same time give back to those in need. I'd like to thank you for your time and just giving back to the community on Lakeshore Community Television Station.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. It's a great opportunity to speak to the public and also to my friend. I know him for a while now. We go to the same church sometimes. So yes, thank you so much for your time, and take care.